Imagine this, you're on the verge of conquering the final boss, heart pounding, fingers flying across the controller. Suddenly, the game glitches, throwing you back to the beginning. Frustrating, right? But what if the mistake wasn't the game's fault? What if you were unknowingly making a silly error that could be costing you precious time and resources? Mistake number 6. Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2's Arabic text in Pakistan. There was nothing fundamentally wrong with the game's choice to set part of its story in Pakistan, but the way this choice was carried out showed a major oversight. Pakistan is different from many other Middle Eastern countries in that English and Urdu are the main languages spoken there, not Arabic. As a result, the Arabic text used to describe Pakistan in the game confused players, especially those with cultural or linguistic ties to the area. Players who know a lot about the languages spoken in Pakistan could easily spot the Arabic text that wasn't always correct in Modern Warfare 2. The Arabic script is close to the Urdu script, but the languages are different. So when Pakistani players saw Arabic text in the game, it looked like nonsense to them, which took away from the realism and validity of the game. The fact that they didn't correctly represent the language environment of the setting they picked shows that the people who made the game didn't do enough cultural study or pay attention to detail. It's impossible to overstate how bad this mistake was for the Pakistani players. People who were looking forward to a game set in their country may have found the Arabic words that didn't make sense to be off-putting or even insulting. Instead of feeling like they were a part of the game's world or that they were portrayed, they were faced with a huge mistake that took away from their overall experience. The mistake also brings up bigger problems of cultural truth and representation in video games, showing how important it is to do a lot of studying and talk to people before showing real places and cultures. Mistake number 5. Quantum Break's Fraps watermark. The Fraps watermark in Quantum Break was a big mistake in the gaming community that showed a lot about how games are made and developed. The mistake happened during a chaotic development cycle, which is a word that is often used to describe how rough and uncertain game development can be. This label suggests a number of problems, from disagreements and management issues within the company to outside stresses like limited time and technology. A Fraps stamp in the game's ending scene suggested that it was made quickly and maybe not very well planned. The fact that an unlicensed version of Fraps was used for recording made the problems that were encountered while the game was being made even more clear. A license is usually needed to fully use Fraps, which is a famous program for recording gaming video. Using an unregistered version means that either you forgot to register it or you don't have enough money to register it. Both of these problems can happen in the last few weeks of making a game. This information gave us a look into how game recordings work in real life by showing us the tools and methods developers use to record footage from games for use in ads or internal scenes. In addition, the Fraps watermark episode in Quantum Break showed how complicated game recording can be in the business. Recording gaming video is an important part of making games. It can be used for promotion, quality control, and telling stories. Developers often spend a lot of money on good recording gear and software to make sure that the footage they get meets the standards they want. A stamp that could be seen in the game's ending scene suggested that someone had not paid enough attention to detail or had made a deal when things were tough. Mistake number 4. Madden 17's Sun Direction. The sun direction mistake in Madden 17 is a problem with how the sun is positioned in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, a famous football field in the game. In real life, where the sun is shining is a very important factor that affects both the gaming and the images, especially during outdoor games. In Madden 17, however, the writers made a mistake when they tried to show the sun's direction in the virtual version of the field. This difference was noticeable enough for players to notice that the sun's position in the game did not match up with reality. When the problem was found, it was acknowledged by the gaming community and even people who were working on the game. The fact that the producers are aware of the problem shows that they are open and willing to listen to player comments and fix problems in the game. This probably made the players feel better by letting them know that their concerns were being heard and that action would be taken to fix the problem. Of course, even though the situation was acknowledged, it took a long time to be fixed. There may not be a clear explanation for the delay, but it could be due to a number of things, including shifting development goals, problems with allocating resources, or technology issues. The delay in fixing the sun's inconsistent direction may have made some players angry because they were hoping for a faster fix, especially since accurate outdoor details are very important in sports simulation games. Mistake number 3. Pokémon Red, Blue, and Yellow's Raiden Evolution. In Pokémon Red, Blue, and Yellow, There is a strange event that happens when the ground and rock type Pokemon Rhydon evolves. A person in the game who wants to trade Pokemon can be found in the lab on Cinnabar Island. When one of these NPCs starts a trade, it says it wants a Rhydon and says it will change once it gets one. In reality though, what this NPC said is false, because Rhydon does not change into any other Pokemon. There is a big difference in the game world because of this false claim. Players are used to NPCs giving them accurate information. This mistake has more effects than just spreading false information. In the game world, Pokemon are real things with unique traits and tracks of development. The NPC's false claim makes you wonder how reliable information in the game is. Players use this kind of knowledge to figure out how to play the game's many complicated parts, like how to evolve Pokemon, breed them, and fight them. Because of this, hearing a clearly false statement from an NPC makes players less trusting of the game's features and storyline. Also, in a world where Pokemon evolution is a big part of their lives and growth, the false claim about Rhydon's evolution upsets the established rules and standards in the Pokemon universe, which shows a major mistake in the development of the game. Mistake number 2, Resident Evil 4's Patadas Mendez Eye. When you fight Patadas Mendez, the boss figure in Resident Evil 4, the game makes one of its biggest mistakes. After the intense fight where the main character, Leon S. Kennedy, beats Mendez, the game fails to take the fake eye off of Mendez's head. This mistake is clear when players look at the aftermath of the fight, where Mendez's body still has the fake eye on it, even though it was an important part of the game during the fight. This mistake breaks the world's realism and uniformity because players are left wondering why the eye, which is an important part of the game, is still there after the fight. This mistake also makes it possible to talk about what the main character, Leon S. Kennedy, does. In Resident Evil 4, Leon is shown to be a skilled and clever agent who is good at getting past the problems that the game's bad guys throw at him. But the fact that Leon didn't take the fake eye off of Mendez's body makes me wonder about his care for the dead and attention to detail. Even though Leon beat Mendez and supposedly got rid of the threat he posed, he still didn't deal with the item, which suggests he was careless or unaware. The contrast between how good Leon is at fighting and how careless he seems to be afterward gives his character more depth and shows a flaw or blind spot that players may not have seen before. In the end, the mistake with Patadas Mendez's eye is both a technical flaw in the game and a chance to show how complicated the main character is as a character. Mistake number 1. Mortal Kombat Trilogy's Skeleton Rip Fatality. One big mistake in the Mortal Kombat Trilogy, a famous fighting game known for its brutal and often gory ending moves, has to do with the Skeleton Rip Fatality. Some characters can use this death move, which includes ripping the opponent's skeleton out of their body. The mistake though is that the skeleton doesn't look like the figure it's done on. When the Skeleton Rip Fatality is used on characters with multiple limbs, like Shiva, who has 4 arms, the skeletons look very different from each other. The graphic difference happens when the opponent's skeleton is shown to have only 2 arms without taking into account the character's anatomy at all. This mistake takes away from the realism of the game because players expect the fatality movements to match the traits of the character who has been beaten. The fact that the skeleton's look wasn't changed to match the unique traits of each character shows that the developers of the game didn't pay enough attention to the little things. In addition to being inconsistent, the mistake could be seen as unfair treatment of figures with more limbs. Shiva, a character with 4 arms, is one of the most famous and unique characters in the Mortal Kombat world. However, the mistake with her skeleton during the Skeleton Rip Fatality means that you don't care about her unique qualities. Because this ending move doesn't properly show Shiva's body, the game accidentally takes away from her character and makes her less important among the fighters. This error may disappoint those who like the character. It also reinforces a pattern of exclusion in the gaming community, where characters with unusual traits are ignored or misrepresented in gameplay and graphics. So there you have it, 6 mind-blowing mistakes that might have been holding you back all this time. Remember, even the best gamers can slip up, but by recognizing these common blunders, you can level up your skills and conquer those frustrating challenges with newfound confidence. Now it's your turn to share your gaming wisdom. Leave a comment below with any other bizarre mistakes you've encountered, and let's keep the gaming community thriving with knowledge and laughter. Until next time, happy gaming!